Hello? Katrina, that's so funny. I was just thinking about you and I was like, I hope Katrina's getting the emails and the texts about getting on and joining and stuff here. You're muted, just FYI.
Yeah, I did. So
I'm so
there we
glad.
go.
Yay. We need to have your intention setting call. You and Stephanie,
Yes.
yeah, we need to have your intention setting call. Because once you do that, then you can start doing your accountability calls with Mackenzie each week. Hi, Kens.
Hello.
Yeah. I started signing up for it and then there was a lot of questions and it was intimidating. Then it got pushed to the side.
It's a lot of questions on purpose because we're trying to get you to kind of reflect in and get some clarity and get some awareness and kind of get in the place where you're like, oh, yes, this is what I want to work on. These are my goals and stuff. So I know it's a lot of questions,
Yeah.
but it's on purpose. Hi, Steph. I was just telling Katrina, we need you guys to do your to set your intention setting or your inspired intentions call, because then that way that triggers the workflow to get you onto your accountability calls with Mackenzie and getting that weekly help as well there.
Okay.
They'll be in your emails, the link to do that.
Okay. All right,
Fantastic.
I'll find it.
Yay. Yeah,
That tack tie.
what's that?
I'm doing that tack tie thing. So
Oh,
I talked
nice.
over too long, but I was like, I want to jump on.
Yeah. Is it the accelerator?
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
And a great place to make. I have a whole bunch of connections that I have for the marketing side that I got from there. So because it's people there who are, in
Yeah.
business, who want to grow, who want to progress, big thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I was like, I might just go and show up monthly to those.
Right?
And they were like, yeah, you can totally come. But they're like, we won't pay your way every month, like they do the first time. But they're like, yeah, you can come whenever you want. I'm like, okay.
That's a good idea, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Just go and network and market and stuff. I know, good stuff. Welcome. Oh, excuse me. Trying to find my my lotion
Hang
here.
on.
Welcome everybody. Happy to have you all here. I'm tuning in to I'm feeling stuff in is it heart or is it throat? I feel like it's throat. So we're gonna do some throat work today. To see or to help to clear out and align for our first few minutes. So let me pull that up and we'll do that and then we'll jump into your questions and help. Okay, while we're getting set up with that, I want everybody to turn your head side to side. And oh, why am I saying that? Turn your head just side to side, releasing any tension. And you can even, and be really careful with this, but you can very carefully move your esophagus, your trachea, and just really gently give it just a really gentle massage through there. Again, very gently, very carefully. Try going up a little bit higher and just kind of moving it around side to side. Try going a little bit lower and just kind of, even if it's just kind of rubbing it and massaging it, giving that, like, how much attention do you ever give to your throat? Like maybe your neck, like your muscles and stuff, right? But like your actual throat, and think about what it does for you. Breathing, eating, singing, talking, yelling, whispering, and everything in between, right? We're just giving a little bit of love to our neck here, rolling that around a little bit. I apologize, it signed me out. So I'm like, okay, let's get back in. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna do our
Everyone knows you need a lawyer after a car.
chakra. Okay, we've got that pulled up. Let me share here. Your head side to side. So in, so in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And as you're doing this, I want you to roll, like feel what feels good in your body, but move your body, even if you're just swaying side to side, up and down, back and forth. Roll your shoulders, roll your neck, and breathe. Rolling back and forth like you're a seaweed on the bottom of the ocean. Waiting. If you want, you can stand up. That's what I'm going to do in the back. Roll your back, put the cat and cow. Your shoulders. There's definitely something going on here with shoulders. Rolling your shoulders out. Breathing. Stop. Like breathing. While you're rolling and breathing, if anything comes to mind that you are feeling that you're like, I need to release this, then on the exhale breath, you can speak that word, like frustration, pain, whatever it is that you're wanting to release, scarcity. And we're setting the intention that you're breathing in love and light and releasing what you don't anymore. In the love, out anything that's not. Just a few more seconds, and then we're going to transition to what we do want to receive. So a few more moments to release anything that you don't want. Frustration, overwhelm, lack, scarcity, doubt, fear, sorrow, grief, pain. Anything else you want to release? 2 more releases. Beautiful. Now I want you to start thinking about receiving. So do something different with your body. If you haven't been moving, start moving. If you've been moving, then just transition your movement and bring it into something that feels sensual and aligned. Beautiful. And you're going to breathe in and exhale. And just let it, as you exhale, this intense sigh. Feel your body full of love, joy, love, compassion, trust, flow, joy, satisfaction, light, aggression, health, prosperity, letting it sink in. So if you still are not moving, I highly recommend that you move. We have just a couple seconds left here, and a nice, big, deep, contented sigh.
With this AI tool, you can create a complete storybook from just one keyword.
Cute story.
Not
but
just
I do want to point out, oh, it left, but I hope that you all saw this little thing from our friend Abraham Hicks down here that was like, you're going to make $2 million in the next 21 days. Yes, I accept. Works for me. Thank you, Abraham. Does everybody know about Abraham Hicks? She's the GOAT. If you're not listening to her, so her real name is Esther Hicks. She does a channeling thing through an entity called Abraham, so she's known as Abraham Hicks. She is fantastic and phenomenal, and she's been around for decades, and she has these cute little like 10 to 15-minute clips on YouTube of her work and like her interviews and her working with people. When don't listen to her as much anymore, but when I was first trying to just really reframe and change my mindset and like stay in this high vibration, I literally just kind of had those on repeat. Like when you start listening to them, it just brings up more and more and more. And I would listen to half a dozen of those every day. They're fantastic. So, so good. So if you already know about her, she's a wonderful, wonderful resource. All right, here we go. Again, our intention for this call is more business side of things, your business questions and anything having to do with money or finances or business, or, even how to like align your family with your business or your life or anything like that. So if anybody has business questions, let's address those first. And then of course, we'll open it up to anything that anybody needs help with after that. I have to say, I'm having a hard time staying focused on work today because Mackenzie and I and our other sisters and our mom are heading out of town tomorrow to go to Northern California for a long weekend getaway, mom and sisters. So excited for that. And that's like top of mind right now. So just sending good vibes that everybody has a beautiful holiday weekend, whatever you're doing, whether you're enjoying being at home or you're going somewhere or anything in between. I want to send those good vibes for everybody. So go ahead and raise your hand, put your little mano raise hand thing up or come off mute, and we'll address anything on the business side of things first and then open it up after that.
Hi.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say no business questions. Everyone's making all the money they want in their business, doing all the things they want. No questions, no problems, no nothing. Perfect.
I have something.
Wonderful.
Well, I just wanted to say that I got on the phone today and I set up a business account for the real estate, and I set up checking accounts for my kids and an account for the family management.
Nice.
So just getting started with that, but
Word. How does that feel?
it's taking me a long time to do it.
It's definitely a work in progress, right? And even like when I ask people who've been doing this for a long time, like, how do you do this? And they're like, oh, it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So it's like, you gotta start from somewhere and just, find the system that works for you. So Candace,
Yeah.
on that note, what we do is we transfer, like from our main account, we transfer that into our family management account. And then that family management account is what we use to pay all the kids for their jobs and the different things that they're doing. Because people, if you don't know, you can pay your child, now I'm blanking on the number, I think it's 14,000. You can pay your child from age 0 to age 18 for up to 14,000. And Renee's on here. I'm like, oh no, I gotta make sure my like I'm giving all my, she can help us out with it too, because she's an accountant and a bookkeeper. But up to $14,000 a year for work that they do for you in the business. And that's you can be fairly creative in the ways that you address that and do that. One of our positions for one of our sons is chief, what is it called? Like waste management or something like that, director of waste management, and they're in charge of taking out the garbages, things like that. I know we're working on implementing this, but Mitch, who I do a lot of work with, I just heard him telling someone the other day that they have a dog. They got a dog recently, well, a few years ago, because they decided they needed an alarm system and their dog was going to be their alarm system. So they write off any grooming, food, anything that has to do with their dog, they write that off as a tax deduction for their alarm system because it's legal. You can have an animal as your alarm system. So get creative with it. Make sure that you're tracking, anything that they're doing that you can possibly tie back to the business, track that in. Anything that you're doing with traveling for work or expenses, and get creative. Again, like if you consistently go to, like who was I just talking with about, they were feeling frustrated because their mother-in-law, cats are just cute, Amy says. Write off a cat. Renee, can we write off a cat? But this person was saying they were frustrated. They were going to miss one of our events because they have family that lives up in like this little town in Idaho. And they're like, my wife makes us go and visit her mom there once a quarter to go up to Idaho. So this is when we're going. I'm going to miss this event, this training thing. And the person that we were talking with about it, he's like, hey, he says, buy a rental property there. And once a quarter, you go out and check on your rental property. And now this is a business trip and it's a write-off. So get creative. There's all sorts of ways. My husband's going out to Iowa. He just left a couple hours ago. He's driving out to Iowa back and forth this weekend for a family funeral. And he's going to make some appointments with some realtors and go look at some possible rental properties while he's out in Iowa. And now the whole trip is a write-off. So get creative. And if there's something that you're already doing, see how you can tie business stuff into it. And now you have a business expense and you can write off your miles and, your food and all the different things, your hotel, all the things that you're doing. The other thing on that note, is anybody here aware of the Augusta rule? Besides Renee. So the Augusta rule, in fact, Renee, do you want to tell them about the Augusta rule? Since this is really your area of expertise.
I'm actually not an accountant, so I don't actually do taxes.
Oh, okay. Well, let me fill you in on the Augusta rule.
I know what it is, but it's not my specialty. So
the Augusta rule says that you can use your home as a retreat space or a business space, and pay yourself or take the deduction of what it would be if you were to go out and rent a space, like to host a board meeting or a planning thing, or if you were like taking, so for example, our board of directors is my husband and I and our 5 sons. So once a month, we set aside, on Friday night and Saturday morning, we're going to have a board meeting, a planning meeting, whatever it is that we want to call it. And we do it twice a month, or excuse me, we do it 2 days a month because you can do it up to, I want to say my numbers are not coming today.
It's like 12 or 14 days or something for the year.
Like that. So maybe it's 1 day. I think you're right. I think it's 14 days a year. So it's 1 day a month you set aside. This is going to be our, thanks for jogging my memory with that, Renee. I was like, yes, that's exactly what it is. 1 day a month, we set that aside as like, this is our Augusta rule day. This is our day that we're having our board meeting, our planning meeting, whatever that looks like. If we're like, we order pizza and we like sit around the table and we talk about what's going on in the business that month and what's coming up moving forward and make our plans and different things like that. And you can go and say, okay, if I were to rent out a space for a day, it would cost me $500 or it cost me $200 or whatever that is. And you can take that deduction. So they recommend doing it just once a month. Yes, Mackenzie. Mackenzie has texted me privately and said, so do you and I need to have a meeting while we're on our girls' weekend so that we can write this off as a, I'm like, yes, we do. That's what I'm talking about. Like figure out some ways to write stuff out. You're not being dishonest. You're using the resource and the tools that are there that are provided for you and being creative. This is how people get huge tax deductions. This is how Warren Buffett actually pays taxes at the level of like middle class American, because he knows how to take all these tax deductions that are there in place if you are a business owner. So talk more about that another time, where you can look up some more resources at that. Stephanie's actually there at Tax Hive right now, where they do a lot of these trainings and different things on this stuff. So they're a great resource if you need someone for taxes. That's who we use. And of course, Renee is here to help you with any bookkeeping stuff that you need. She's fabulous. So great awareness, Candace. Thanks for bringing that up and letting us jog our brains for what's going down there as well. Any other questions about that side of things with taxes or accounting or numbers or writing things off? talking to people. One of the biggest things, I've seen it with a lot of you here in the group, that one of the biggest challenges that we face when we're growing our business is being willing to be uncomfortable and put yourself in awkward situations. I hope that you will remember, and hopefully by now it's taped to your forehead, if not your forehead, to your wall, that it's always awkward before it's elegant. And the only way it becomes elegant is if you are willing to be awkward. One of the key elements that has got me to where I am today is I am willing to be awkward. I'm willing to be the weird person. I'm willing to be the awkward, uncomfortable, make things uncomfortable, right? just kind of who I am. Mackenzie's like, true. But the only way to get better at it and to get more eloquent and be, Amy says, I think I'm the queen of awkward. Join the party, Amy. But the more we do it, the easier it gets. And so if you're wanting to grow your business, if you're trying to talk to people, if you're wanting to promote what you're doing or who you are, anything like that, you have to be willing to tell people about it. It's just a thing. There's no other way to get around it. And the more that you do that, you find what works, you find what doesn't work. We can do a training about sales and marketing and how to talk to people in a way that's not that doesn't trigger their oh, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like, no, I don't want this, triggers and stuff. So be willing to be uncomfortable. I was shouting out Candace this morning. I texted her and I said, I hope that you realize you are not the same person you were a year ago when we started working together. And a big part of that is being willing to be uncomfortable, to have hard conversations, to try new things, do new things, talk to different people, put yourself in different situations and keep moving forward. Yes, Amy.
As I've been exploring the Renatus education and ATM success, and that's my mission. That is my mission number, that letters. And so every time we talk about that, I'm like, I had success in the first ATM, so let's try it again. That was good. It depends upon like what really fuels you. Like the fact that I really realized how much interest really pays. And I was talking to my sister-in-law about, she's like, well, isn't a HELOC another loan? I'm like, it is, but it's simple interest. I'm like, I really want to get a t-shirt that says friends don't let friends pay interest.
I love that.
And
I
don't
love
you
that.
think that would be a great conversation starter wherever you go?
Like quite literally do it and order me one as well.
I just think that would make you millions of dollars. I mean,
that's a
literally.
fantastic idea, Amy. Honestly, I do.
Can you see me wearing it? 100%.
Yes, 100% right. And I'm not even kidding. I'm like, let's have a whole bunch of them made up. I know someone named Katrina who could do that for us. So Katrina's fairly new. Katrina, do you want to introduce yourself real quick? I think this is your first time being on a call.
It is my first time being on a call. I'm driving, so sorry. It's been a day. But I'm Katrina Anderson, and I have a promotional products business. So I do all the swag, so shirts are definitely a thing. I just was picking some up. That's where I'm on my way back from. But yeah, so I do all the swag, and we just joined Renatus and the First Flip Challenge. So we're going to be doing that. So we're going to be brave and be doing a bunch more social media posting and all kinds of things, but we are super excited to do that as well. And yeah, just create our empire.
Yes, all the
There we
things.
go.
Her husband is Mike, and they have a cute little, she 1.5? Your little girl?
2.5.
2.5.
She'll be 3 in August. So little girl. Yeah.
Super, super cute. So happy to have you, Katrina.
Yeah.
So happy. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So excited.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Amy, did that answer your question? I couldn't remember. Was there a question or just a comment?
It just depends upon like the reason why I really do this is so I can save people money on interest. I was thinking about this. I'm like, you could take out a house loan for $200,000 and then pay all that extra $300,000 in interest,
Awful.
and then you pay off the house, and you do have the house, but you don't have the HELOC keeps the money in the house. And that is, I mean, that is just genius to me. I'm like that. Once I really like understand it, I'm just trying to get all the everything else, the homework done, and it's going to be a while. Like we're
Yeah.
going slow here, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
getting
right.
a
It's a
good
process.
foundation of it, and then I can really soar. So
Yeah. So
That's
for
awesome.
clarification, for those that aren't, oh, let's see, I think Steph's not muted. Mute and mute. So for those that aren't, because I know not everybody on here is in the real estate training and education and stuff that we do. So a lot of us are doing. So if you're not, what she's talking about is a process called velocity banking. And I have a little video I can send you about it, where essentially you use, instead of a loan, which is the most expensive way to pay for something, and it requires tons and tons of interest because it's amortized interest. And that is why, like, for example, when we purchased our home here in Vernal 10 years ago, I bought it for right around $200,000. And when I got the loan statement and it showed like the 30-year payoff, it was like over 30 years, it would take us just over $500,000. And I was like, this is not a $500,000 home. Like, I am not okay with that. And I was so frustrated and annoyed, but that's just like, what other options do you have, right? So using a technique called velocity banking, you actually use you use the value of your home to get a HELOC on your home, and then you use the HELOC to pay off your home. So now you're paying interest, but it's simple interest. And for us, for example, and maybe those of you who have looked at these numbers recently, pop in the chat. What it does is it takes, I believe for us, it took it from being a 25-year payoff to a 9-year payoff without making any extra payments, because people are like, oh yeah, you just make extra payments. And that's like, well, that's fine if you have the money for that, right? And want to put it there. But this is way where you're not making any extra payments, but you're just simply not paying the amortized interest. So you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in most cases on what that interest would be. So it's huge. So whether you want to do real estate investing or not, this is one tool that I'm like, everybody should know about this. In fact, my husband was super annoyed and frustrated and ticked off that we didn't know about it already. He was like, why haven't we been taught this? Why aren't people teaching this? Why isn't this like a common thing? And it's like, because the bank doesn't want you to know this, because they don't make the money if you know this. So it's taught from within, which is true of all the tools and secrets, and the way that the wealthy work. It's taught from within. So being in a group where there are people who are sharing these secrets openly, not trying to safeguard them or to gatekeep them, like what we're doing here. So those of you who aren't in all this education already, if you want the information about how you could do that for your home, then just let me know and I'll send you the YouTube video that talks about it. It's not a big deal. I think that was what we're talking about. Yeah. Okay. We're good. Okay. I was like, was there something else? Perfect. Thanks for bringing that up, Amy. That's super, super important. Renee, what's going on, girl?
I want to do like a workshop or a little challenge or something for people on like what to pay yourself from your business. Because there are so many people that like have a business and then they're like, well, how do I, like, they just work, but they never like take the owner's draw. They're never paying themselves, or they don't know what, but how do I save for taxes? Or do I just reinvest everything into my business? Anyway, that's the gist, is like, how much could you pay yourself from your business? What do you want to pay yourself? How do you figure all that out? And it has like 4 or 5 steps. So my question here, because I think most people in this environment are probably a business owner of some point, some kind, is maybe a poll of people of just like a workshop to go through. There's like 4 steps, but some of it kind of has homework, right? It's almost like I want you to have a chance to do the homework in between. So I almost think like a challenge is better, because you could do homework each day. But are people showing up for a lot of challenges? Like, where are people at? And to do a challenge in the summer, is that realistic? Or do I wait till like the end of August, because then everyone's back to school, right? So that's my poll of, if I did a workshop or challenge, and challenge, is it possible to do a challenge in the summer and have people show up? Not that I couldn't do it in the summer and also do it again in the fall, right?
Right. Yeah. Like do it once a quarter, right?
Yeah.
And that's really something actually that feels like might be the best way to go, because that's going to, if it's something that you want to kind of be known by and want to build, having something that you start and then just continue to repeat and refine is actually a really powerful way to run your business, because people get, they start to see you as this person who does this thing, right? And you build this name for yourself, you build this reputation. And you can grow and expand it, and you can offer like, okay, let's, you did it the first time, didn't go so well for you, or you didn't complete everything, let's do it again. And they get a discount, right? If they renew, if they do it again. In addition to, okay, bring a friend with you, right? This time, bring someone new, and you can kind of help to get the word out there. Having one thing that you repeat and refine is going to be more beneficial over time than something new that you throw out there every week. So
Right.
I think and as far as like, do I do it in the summer? Do I wait for the fall? It really just depends on how you market it, right? If you market it as, it's summertime, let's get you geared up, let's use some of this extra time that you have, whatever your messaging is, letting people know, no, this is actually the perfect time for you to do this. This is a perfect time for you to kind of dive into this. And here's why, and here's how we're going to make that happen for you. You can do any class at any time, as long as you are doing the marketing and being clear on all that. Amy says, I think moms have more time when we're not having to deal with homework in the summer. It's funny because every year, so on this note, every year I'm like towards the end of the school year, I'm like, okay, once summer comes, then I'll have more time, and then this and then that, right? And then once summer here, I'm like, as soon as the kids go back to school, then I'll have
Yes, this is our last week of school. They end on Friday.
Yeah, same.
And so they've had like all these, I have 3 different schools and they all get out at different times. So all the people are like showing up at random times. And my 9-year-old, his thing was done at 10 o'clock today because they just had their performance. And by 12:30, I'm like, find a friend, dude. You got to get out of here.
Get out of here, go.
To do. You need to go find a friend.
Yep, 100%.
He's like, can you take a break yet? I'm like, no, I still have to work like 4 hours a day, dude. Like,
Yep.
you just got to go find some friends.
Still doing this. Yep. Invite friends over, schedule play dates, go out.
Yeah. And there was no siblings home to play with, right? Like sometimes he'll just go play with his sisters or something, and he'll have someone will play a game with him, and it was just me. And I'm like, yeah, no, not just me today.
Not today. For a few minutes maybe, but then
Yep.
out, right?
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to like you having those clear boundaries, right? And being like, yeah, like today is a work day, so this is what I'm doing. Tomorrow we're going to the lake. Tomorrow we're going to the park. Tomorrow we're doing all
Yes, I'm already mapping my like which days are morning work days, which days are afternoon days, which days are going to be more family days. So,
and a big part of that will be letting yourself stick to that and being flexible as you need to, right? But like giving yourself permission to be like, I am a really good mom because I hold boundaries, because I'm clear about today is our play day. Today is my work day. Today is our family day. Today is, do whatever you want day. And then holding those clear boundaries and not letting yourself be guilt tripped into, like, oh, mom, like you'll never help me, or you're never this, or you're never that. And be like, no, like I can find a balance. And just because I'm not showing up the way that you think I should right now, doesn't mean that I'm not doing a good job. We're
right.
good.
Yes, I listened to a podcast like 2 days ago, and it was on. She interviewed like 6 women on if you could give yourself permission to do something, what would you give yourself permission to do earlier? Right. And a lot of them were, and I was like, I give myself permission to create this workshop and do stuff with my family. Where before I kept thinking, how am I going to make summer and work? Right. Like, how am I going to, and I was like, no, I give myself permission to do both and enjoy both.
100%.
So it's like mindset, really, right? And
Exactly.
and then there's logistics,
yeah,
in there, but like deciding first.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
100%. And you've been such a good example of doing that. I've loved every time you've shared about, how it has helped to have the schedule right? That masculine, that plan, and then be able to flow from within that and it's beautiful. You're doing a really good job of that. So
Oh,
nice
thank you.
work.
Some days it flows and it is really beautiful. Some days it's kind of messy and we're in like the mud of the river, right? And we're
100%.
mudding
And
through.
we're here for all of it, right?
Right.
It's never gonna change.
Yes.
It's never
Yep.
gonna change. It's always gonna be that way.
Yep.
So good work. But back to your original question, I think that starting over the summer, if that feels good to you and is exciting to you, even if it's just a few people and it might be a whole ton of people, I think that's really, really beautiful because there will be those people who want that and need that. And it can be like your first cohort type of thing, you know what I mean? And go from there and then just expand that. I know Profit First is a good resource for that. Have you read that or listened to that or anything?
Yes, I have. And I love the principles of Profit First, but I don't like the way he actually does it.
Cool. So do it your way.
Yeah. So, which is how I do everything.
Yeah.
I take everything and do it my way.
Well,
But yes.
that's all we ever do, right? Like we take
Right.
an idea or a suggestion or something from someone
Yes.
else and then we tweak it and make it ours. And then we
Yes.
turn around and sell
And
it.
I do it in a way that's more simple because a lot of people, if you're already bad with money and you go open 5 bank accounts, are you kidding me? Like that, it's a disaster. I've worked with people that have tried to do it and it's a disaster. They can't manage 1 bank account, let alone 5.
My
So I'm like,
gosh.
let's take the principles of planning it differently, right? But you don't have to have all of the accounts and all of this stuff. But it's basically his stuff just simplified, kind of, the ideas of it because they're sound principles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even just the idea of, oh, I should pay myself something, right? Like even if you just start small and grow from there, to me, that was like when I was a couple years ago that I first read that and heard that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, right?
Right.
And just putting that aside and having it and then treating yourself to, new clothes or a trip or whatever it is on occasion. And then having this, yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful principles that people need to know and be aware of. So I love it. I think you probably have a lot of people in this group that would want to join up and learn from you. So definitely think it's a good idea. Any specific questions or anything on that, or does that kind of answer what you were needing help with?
No, that's good. Just to know that people are on board with the summer thing, kind of, right? Like, because sometimes I just get in my head and overthink it. So I'm like, let's just ask people and see what they say.
For sure. And knowing that, yeah, there will be some people who are like, nope, I'm not doing any classes over the summer. I'm taking a
Right.
break. I need that time off. Perfect. Then the second one will be starting up in September. Would you like to join us then? Type of thing. And committing them, even maybe having an enrollment for that ready to go in September that they can jump into at that point so that you're getting commitments. And there will be people who are like, yes, summer is the perfect time for me because I'm a school teacher and I'm trying to do the side hustle, right? And so summertime is when they have time for that extra thing or something like that. So
Yeah.
bottom line is, does it feel good to you? Is it exciting to you to do it over the summer? Main question.
Yes, and especially like the creating it part and getting it ready and doing it. And then I just have to like look at the calendar and figure out, well, what
Oh, you froze.
because my calendar, I have an outline. I make like a 12-week grid of
Mhm.
summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like and then it has all their you can't even see it because of the blurry screen.
No, pull it back just
But-
a little bit and maybe pull it back and just like let it focus. Maybe nope.
Maybe
still
not. Oh, but it has like all 12 weeks. And so then I pencil everything in so I can see all of summer at once
I
because
love it.
we only have 12 weeks before they all go back to school.
Yes.
So
I'm one of those that likes to see everything at a glance as well. So
Yeah.
I'm with them.
so I just have to figure out when I can do it. But
You do it in like live over Zoom, or would you pre-record it and they can watch it on their own time?
that's a good question. See, there's all these dreaming possibilities. And so I do think having it like recorded videos could be good. And maybe it's like an email thing, right? Like here's the email and then there's a Facebook group open for like 2 weeks for questions or something, right? So you have like 2 weeks access to all the stuff. I don't know. There's so many ideas. Because showing up live for like 3 or 4 days in a row is really hard in summer for everybody, even the people who were like, I got time because summer's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I could do it like an asynchronous thing of like, here's Yeah. So I'm still kind of in the brainstorming, dreaming phase, but it's getting exciting. I'm very excited.
Well, and that's where it's important to remember that everything works and nothing doesn't. As long as you do something, something will work. Like all you said, like all those options are great. Like doing it, a challenge, a 5-day challenge, and it's all 1 week because this is the week that I'm home all week long, right? Or
Right.
once a week for 5 weeks, or having it all online. Like you're gonna have people who are like, oh, I don't do online stuff. Like I can't keep myself accountable, right? And then you'll have people who are like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to be there in person, but if you did it online, then I could, or like a pre-recorded, right? Like
Right.
like you're not
All
gonna
of the
satisfy
ways.
everybody. And so it really
Yes.
comes down to what feels good for me, what lights me up, what am I like, yeah, this feels awesome, right? Do that and you will attract the people who are in alignment with that for you. But
Awesome.
everything, there's not a wrong, right? You see people online and out there who are doing all these different versions of it.
Right.
Everything works, do something, but nothing doesn't. If you do nothing, that's not going to work.
Right. Right. And this is just like version 1,
Yeah, exactly.
and then it could change later and be a
Yep.
different way or something. Yeah.
100%. Love it. I think it's a fabulous idea. If you need any more feedback, put it in school and you can bounce ideas or like outlines or questions or whatever off from us.
Okay. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Okay, about 20 more minutes. Who else has questions or comments or needs support on something? Everything works and nothing doesn't. Just choose something and start doing it.
Okay, I have one.
All right, go for it.
So I jumped in and hired I'm starting to work with your VA,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So it's definitely still awkward.
Yep. It will be awkward.
So now I have to figure that part out. Yes. Yes, I'm just definitely still in the awkward phase of just trying to figure out how to let things go and what to have them do first and how to explain what I need them to do in a way that then gets it done in a way that works for my business, because my business is definitely different than a lot of others. But it's still a business, right? It still works.
Yep.
It's the same in some ways. So any advice on, I don't know, figuring that out?
Hey, just jumping in and doing it. What I have found from my last 2 years of working with VAs and stuff, the more clarity I have and the more information I can give them, the easier they can do their job. So for example, at first I would just be like, I need you to create some emails about this event that we're doing. Go do it. And I just kind of expected them to like know what I was thinking. And be me and have all of my experience and training and all this stuff, right? And they don't. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing what they're be doing. They'd be doing what I'm doing, right? So using ChatGPT has really, really helped me with that because I can pop on. So for example, in our case, we're doing a lot of events, right? So I can pop on and say, help me create an outline for a flyer about our Creating Her Empire event that's going to be this time, this place, this location. We want to help women see and understand that they can create an empire and that they're worthy of it and that they can have all the tools and resources they need and they can achieve their dreams. And we want to help them to know that, blah, 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 blah. And I'll just kind of like talk it out to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will spit it all out. And then I'll just go through and tweak it as needed so that it feels good. And then I'll put that all in a document and send it to them and say, I need you to create graphics with this. I need you to create a flyer giving the basic information. I need you to create an Eventbrite page. I need and it's literally, it's just trial and error and getting like starting with where it's at and then getting better and better at it each time as you get to know them and as they get to know you. So that's like what we're working on. Tell me like what you're having them or wanting them to do for you. Who else has a VA? Put in the chat if you have a VA that you're working with so we can kind of see where people are at. Go ahead, Katrina. What are you wanting
They talked about like email management, which I feel like is good. It's just Yeah, so we're working on that. We've got it to a point like they're forwarding stuff that needs to get forwarded from clients into my project management system and getting stuff put in there and then putting that into a folder and then like helping me because Renee taught us that Wise Women to
Oh, we lost her. What did you teach him, Renee? What did you teach him?
um,
Katrina. Dead spot. Okay, so nobody in here is working with a VA yet. That's fine. I just wanted to kind of see where we were at. If you want one or need one or are ready for one, please let me know because I can help you out with that. We may have lost Katrina. Anybody else have something while she's getting back on? Oh, maybe she's back now. Are you back?
there I am.
There
Sorry.
you are. Okay, okay. So you were saying sending emails to your project management system,
Yeah.
and then we lost.
Okay, so that's going better. Like we have them like putting stuff into folders or like labeling them in Gmail, I guess is what it is. So we're getting that figured out. The art, my business has a lot of artwork to do. So I had them do some last night for the first time and it was awkward. So I need to figure out how to tweak that and make sure that I'm getting the files that I need. Because my industry is very specific when it comes to artwork. But
When you said it was awkward, meaning
yeah, so far we're having.
Oh, let me clarify. When you said it was awkward, meaning the artwork that they created was awkward and you didn't like it, or just the process of having them do that and get it to you was awkward?
I didn't love the artwork, and then it came to me as a JPEG. So, it's more just clarifying. Like I just need to clarify more of abilities versus. That's definitely part of it, and then that's as far as we've gotten so far.
So creating an SOP, do you know what an SOP is? A standard operating procedure? That would be helpful in this case. So if you go through as you are doing it with either like a Loom video or a Zoom or something like that that's recording your screen, and then send that to them of how you want it done. That's really helpful. Another thing that I have found is really, really powerful as well is because if you're not doing it, as far as like the communication and stuff, right, and the organizing and things, if you're not the one doing it and they're going to be the one doing it, then as long as the end result is what you want, maybe the way that it gets there is not as important. And so I have found a lot of value in saying, this is what needs to happen. How do you recommend doing that? Because then they're doing it in a way that makes sense to them. And if they're going to be the ones doing it anyway, then a lot of times that's what's most important is how does this make sense to you, right?
Yeah.
How would you recommend doing this? And they might have a different way that you were like, oh my gosh, that's genius. Do that.
Yeah, that works.
So in that case, but recording a video of you doing it is always helpful so they know what you're wanting, letting them have some ownership in how it could be done. And then are you wanting to have them do the artwork and stuff? Did you hire someone who has some design training?
Yeah, so I'm still just working with Nicole's team so far. So
Okay.
she has people on her team that are doing it. So we're still just, I think, figuring out some of it.
We lost her again.
Yeah. Because
we lost you again, Katrina. I don't know if you can hear us.
No, I'm not moving this time, so I don't know.
Okay, now you're back. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, art is something like that's not in my wheelhouse necessarily. Like I can do very basic stuff, but that's something I was outsourcing anyway.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of figuring out if it's going to work with the VA or if I need to go back to the other one or where to stick that. So
I've been really, really pleased with, obviously we're not creating like art, like maybe what you're trying to do. They do all my graphics and stuff, and I've really, really liked what they've done. So it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm probably at a fraction of the cost of what you might have been paying someone else, maybe.
yeah.
So play around with it. Be patient in the process. And then
Yes.
also be willing to be like, this isn't working for me. Like, who else do you have? Right? Like, I'm not loving this. Like, that's what Nicole does, is she helps you find the right people. So if you have someone, then you're like, yeah, I'm not liking what they're doing. Who else do you have? Like, what other people do you have that could do this, that we could look at?
Okay.
You are the business owner, you are the queen, right? Which means hiring and
Yeah.
firing in some cases. So
Yeah.
be willing to do that as needed.
Okay.
Okay.
That
Did that answer your questions?
Yeah. That's good.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Okay. Anybody else? Who else has questions? We just moved into Gemini season yesterday, I think. And Gemini season is all about communication, curiosity, lighthearted, fun, easygoing. It's a perfect start of summer energy because it's just this really buoyant, fun, uplifting. And Taurus is kind of, it's more of like a not just like quiet, but the Taurus energy we've been in the last month is a little bit more calm and almost reserved, maybe a little bit cautious. And so you're probably going to, if you haven't already, start feeling a little bit more buoyant, a little more excited, a little bit more want to get out there and do things and have fun. It's really, Gemini energy is very communicative. Most people that have a lot of Gemini energy can be quite the talkers. They're known as like, they can have a conversation with anyone, anytime, anywhere. And so more communication, it's actually a really beautiful time to, whether you're communicating about your business online over social media or having conversations with other people over Zoom or in person. It's actually, the energy is really aligned to communicate and communicate effectively. So everybody that has a business that relies on communication, which is all of us, now is a very supportive time to be doing that communication. In alignment with that. We've got Pluto that has been, and if you have something else, oh yes, okay, perfect. If anybody has any other questions, feel free. I'm just kind of filling right now on things that come up that might be helpful and informative, and then we'll give Mackenzie a few minutes because I'd like her to share some insights that she has about being home with kids. But remember that Pluto is retrograde and going back through some of your areas of Aquarius and giving you an opportunity, as we talked with Josephina last time. Hers was a really beautiful example of, I thought I already worked through all this stuff. And I've been having a lot of that come up too, of like, I thought I already worked through this, and kind of this same situation happening again, and giving you a chance to not redo or reassess, but it feels more like releasing and clearing like any remnants of scarcity or lack or doubt, or like any of those like old fears and old patterns that you found continually resurfaced in the past. I'm guessing you have done some healing and clearing work around them, and this is giving you a chance to probably have some of that stuff come up again so that you can heal it and clear it and release it on a deeper and higher, holier level than you have in the past. So if that's happening for you, There's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing bad is happening. It's just letting you get clarity and be really, really consciously choosing into this is how I choose to process and work going forward in the future. So just kind of a heads up if you feel like that is going on for you. And then Mackenzie, would you share a little bit about, you know, as you've had your kids home this last year for homeschool and everything, and now everybody will have their kids home in the summer, any insight that you'd like to share with us about thoughts, feelings, tools, tips, tricks for that?
Yes. Mostly I was just wanting to share that, like, I homeschool my kids. This is my second year doing it. And I was never, ever, 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 ever going to homeschool my kids. There was no way. Like, I was one where it was like, I cannot wait for my kids to go to school. And so that I can be home all day without my kids. Like, it was not something that I was like, yes, I'm a homeschool mom, like far from it. But as I've done it, and because it's just what I felt like was going to be best for our family. I've had the reminder over and over again that, like, it's actually like normal for moms to be really great with their kids. Like, I feel like as a society, because it's the norm for kids to go to school, like, it's just moms aren't used to that, right? And so we've been conditioned that when our kids are home, it's hard. And I'm not to say that it isn't hard, because I mean, I had to step out because my kids were outside the door screaming at me while I was in this meeting, right? So, like, it's hard. I'm not here to say anything else. But I think we don't give ourselves enough credit to and trust that we are capable of handling it is kind of what I feel like, because it's just not the norm. So anyways, I don't know. I just kind of get this little smile in my face when people are like, like, summer kids are gonna be home all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's my life. And it works. Like, you can do it. You're capable of handling that, and not only handling it, but thriving in it. And it's just a matter of getting used to it, and then just stepping into that trust of, like, I'm their mom, so I am actually really capable of being with them 24/7. Like, yeah, I can do that. So
Beautiful insight, Ken's. And letting go, I feel like along with that, letting go of the idea of what it should look like, and just let it be what it is. Let it be a messy house on some days. Let it be a clean house on other days. Let it be chaotic and loud and crazy. Let people be ornery and moody, and learn, like, that is what we're here for, is to learn how to, that's why we have a family, right? So we can learn how to interact with people. And do that in a way that is safe, in a safe environment, and you being able to help your kids through that process of learning how to interact together is really, really beautiful. So I agree 100%. Thank you, Ken, for sharing that. Any questions or comments on that from anybody, or any questions for Mackenzie on that note? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I love each of you. Super, super proud of you, where you are in your personal lives, where you are in your business, where you are in your spirituality. Super, super proud of you, and really grateful for how you guys are showing up in our school community and supporting each other and helping answer questions and welcoming our new people and all the things. I'm really, really proud of each of you. So thank you for showing up. Yes, remember to schedule your accountability calls. If you are new and first need to do your intention call, remember to schedule that. So then you can do your accountability calls. And thanks, Kenzie, for dropping that there. And have a wonderful Memorial. I know it's only Wednesday, but it feels like it's time to move into the weekend. Like, we're right there with end of school and stuff and everything. So have a beautiful Memorial weekend with your loved ones, whether that's a lot of them or just you and your little family, or whatever that needs to look like. I think if there's one thing, let's see, I feel like there's like, so I know we hear this all the time, but what comes to mind is that reminder that you're doing better than you think you are. and to recognize that, to look back, like set aside some time this weekend. The end of the school year is a perfect time to do that. We just did it with our kids on Sunday. What have you learned over these last 9 months of the school year? Or even just like since the beginning of this year? When I look back, I was just talking with Maylee yesterday about, I can't remember why we were talking about something that was like 10 years ago. And she's like, where were you at? What were you doing 10 years ago? And I was like, I was in Arizona. We were like a completely different everything. Like, and I would have never in a million years have thought that I would be doing what I'm doing today. Like it was not even on my radar. Like the coaching, the real estate, like nothing was even on my radar 10 years ago. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, what is ahead for me in the next 10 years that is not even on my radar, but is so amazing and magical. And it's even within like the last year. It was a year ago, almost exactly, that I started doing the real estate thing and started into that journey and that side of things. A week before that, it was not even on my radar. And now I'm doing something completely different than what I ever thought I'd be doing just a year ago. So take a minute to reflect, whether it's just since the beginning of the year, since the beginning of the school year, over the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever that looks like, and allow yourself to see how you have grown, how you've progressed, how you've expanded, how you are actually right now living a life that 5 years ago you only dreamed of. Do you realize that? This life that you have right now, I know it's like this fuzzy warm feeling, right? This life that I'm living right now was just a dream a few years ago. How blessed are we? How amazing are each of you? Sink into that. Fall in love with your life. Romanticize your life. Let those little moments be just like so amazing. Even like sitting down with your kid or walking across, walking down the road or driving to somewhere, just like stop and look around and realize like, look at this beautiful, amazing place that I get to live in. Look at my home. Look at all my books. Look at my family, right? Look at this delicious food, and just allow yourself to savor the moments and literally fall in love with your life. And it will only get better, because what you focus on, you get more of. So if you focus on all the beautiful, amazing pieces of your life, you will get more of those. And that's what I want to share as we finish up. You're doing better than you think. Fall in love with your life, recognize how far you've come, and get so excited for where you're headed. And know that it will take effort to get there. But I want you to, on that effort of getting there, I want you to focus on what feels expansive and progressive and stretchy, but doesn't feel super, super heavy and hard. And even as I say that, I'm like, there's some things that I am doing right now that do feel maybe heavy and hard, but it's more because I don't know how to do them yet, or I'm learning how to do them. And so that, because I can feel this energy. I'm like, is that my energy? Or I feel like feeling that from the energy of some of you who are here in the group of you know that you need to do some things that are scary and feel heavy and hard, but it's just because you don't know how to do them yet. And if you will step into it and do it and take that action, it will get easier every single step of the way. So let it be stretchy. Shift that mindset from heavy and hard to stretchy and expansive, like a rubber band that's being stretched out of where it came in the little box, right? And you stretch. Even this right here is a great example. When I first got this one out, it's like it hurt my wrist, and it was like super tight on my wrist, right? You guys know how that feels. And now that I've been using it for several weeks, it's like loose and rubbery and doesn't bother my wrist anymore, right? So be willing to be in that stretchy space, because then it will get easier as it goes. Okay. I'm going to stop right there. Put your takeaways in the chat, in the community, schedule accountability calls. Have a wonderful, wonderful week with your families, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.